So in this video we'll be seeing events and conversions in Google Analytics 4. Now before we move forward, we need to know that the previous version, that is Universal Analytics, and the newer version, which is now Google Analytics 4, they have some differences in this case. Previously for events in Universal Analytics you used to have different dimensions like event category, event label, event action, but now in the new Google Analytics 4 you only have event name and event parameters. So what this means is this has now become an event driven model. So everything that happens on your website or your application is now considered as an event. So even your page view is now considered as an event. So let's just go to the admin section first. Data, data streams, and so when we made this stream, we got this enhanced measurement option first. So and we saw that even this is a newer feature as compared to Universal Analytics. So now let's take this for example, the scrolls. Now capture scroll event each time that a visitor gets to the bottom of a page. So this only captures the event when a user has scrolled 90% or more of your page. So if you need to do scroll tracking on your website and you need to customize it, suppose you want 10%, 25%, 50%, if you want all those different values, you need to turn this off because this will only capture 90% of that, like 90% of a scroll. So we'll just turn this off, we'll click save, and the same goes for the other settings as well. Like if you want some custom settings in all of these, like you want to do some custom tracking, then you can turn this off and create those parameters afterwards. Now I had turned off the scroll tracking in the enhanced measurement because I wanted to do custom measurement tracking of scrolls. So I would go to Google Tag Manager now, and I would create a new tag. Go to tag configuration, select Google Analytics GA4 event, and your configuration tag will be GA4 configuration. Now your event name will be scroll, event parameters. So before we move ahead, it's always a good practice to use lowercase when you're naming your events for consistency. And if you have to use a delimiter, so don't use a space, use a underscore instead. Right? So we'll move on. Event parameters. Now here we'll add percent score scrolled. Then value will select. There are some values that are already available, but if it is not visible here, you can always go to built-ins, and from there I'll select scroll depth threshold, and I'll add a trigger which will make this tag fire. Then again there will be some triggers that are already available, but if it is not there, go to create a new trigger and just select scroll depth. Now we want to track vertical scroll depths and percentage. We can select as 10, 25, 50, 75, 90. You can put in any values that you want to track. It's just for an example, and then we can name it as scroll tracking. I had already made one, so I'll close this and I'll select this, and we'll put in a name for this tag, GA4 scroll tracking, and hit save. Now we can go and test it here. As you know, this will open your site in a new tab, and then you can scroll down a bit right down to the bottom of the site. Now we'll finish this, continue. As you can see, our GA4 scroll tracking was fired 5 times. Now why 5 times? Because we had put 5 values, 10, 25, 50, 75, 90, and since we scrolled right to the bottom of it, it satisfied all those conditions. So firstly, this one, scroll tracking, then this. Here you can see the value for it, which was 90. So this was when 90% of the page was scrolled. Similarly, if you go here, you will see 75 when 75% of the page was scrolled, and so on. Now, after this, you can even go to your analytics and to configure, and in debug view, you can see the timeline of it. Just load. Yeah, you can see we scrolled, and if you click here again, you'll get all the details. Now, always remember to create custom definitions for your event parameters. Otherwise, you won't be able to see them in the UI. Like they will be available in real time, but you won't be able to see them in the analytics UI. So we'll just create a custom dimension now. We'll click create custom dimension. Go to dimension name. You can name it as uh, custom person scroll. Scope you can set to event or user. Event parameter, you'll select percent scroll, right? Then save. Now you have successfully registered your event parameter as a custom dimension. So now it will show in the UI as well, not just in real time. And then create another custom dimension, which will be page scroll on, then scope event or user, and event parameter page scroll, right? And save. So you have created your custom dimensions for both of them, and both will be available on the UI as well now. And along with custom dimensions, you also have custom metrics, which is a new feature in Google Analytics 4, when you can create new custom metrics, then which allows you to set different units of measurement and set it as distance, time, currency, or even a standard count. So let's close this and move on to events. Here you can mark any of the event as a conversion. So suppose I want to mark page view as a conversion, so I can easily toggle that on or off from here. And now you'll be able to see page view in a conversion. You need to be careful with this because there is a limit of about 30. So if you have to go over that limit, be sure to toggle something off before you toggle on a new event. And there's an option of create event where you can create an event inside of an event. So suppose I want to track my conversion using page view, but I only want the page view to be the final page or the block page, right? So I'll create new, I'll set it as blog view, then event name firstly equals to page view because we are creating an event inside of page view. So and then parameter, then page location contains blog. So this means it will only track your page views for the blog page. Create. You can even modify events from your, suppose you want to change any of the events that you've created, like if you have entered a wrong parameter and you want to change it going forward, you can do it from here and it will show in the UI. But it is not advised to do it from here. What's advised is you go to the Google Tag Manager and change it from the source itself. And suppose you want to create a, you are planning on creating an event tomorrow, you can already register it as a conversion beforehand. So that's again a new feature that Google Analytics 4 has given you. And that's pretty much all about events and conversions for now. We'll dive into the advanced part of it later. So today we just saw a few things which started from the best practices for events, which is to name everything in lowercase for consistency purposes, to use underscore instead of spaces, and then we moved on to custom definitions, which was very important, that you need to you know register your event parameters as custom definitions if you want to see them in UI. And we saw the difference between Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4, and how they show events separately, how Google Analytics 4 is a event driven model. And we also saw a bit of conversions, how they work. So yeah, this was just an overview of today. See you in the next video. Thank you.